Greetings and welcome back once again. This is Amuna. I pray everybody's doing well. I know you haven't seen me in this setting in a while. Let me know if you could hear me in the room. I'm going to be speaking and chit-chatting. Revolutionary, welcome to the conversation. Welcome to the conversation. Let me know if I can be heard. Let me know if I can be heard. I'm going to put my glove back on now. Hold on one second so I can just make sure that I can be heard, and then we can get started. Hello. Can I be heard? I'm quite sure you guys will tell me. All right. Thank you. Welcome to the conversation. I'm going to take y'all with me today because I decided I'm doing a juice cleanse as well as doing some samples on this new juice shots I got going on here at the Yummy Cottage. So for those who, let me just start off like this because I usually don't. For those who ask, can they do the Cash App and all that stuff? It would be greatly appreciated if you drop, if you're led to, if you want to support and you value what you get here, then I put the things where you can support. Either you get you some stuff from the Yummy Cottage, or for the last 3 years, I've had a building fund, business fund. We've been funding it ourselves because we're going to still keep going, right? But if you want to support, just go ahead and check out the links that I have graciously put on the bottom of the screen. Welcome to those who just joined us. So let's get into this. Let's Revolutionary said, am I going to be talking about the charge of Brother Polite? You know, when stuff like this is going on, for those who don't know, I'm Amuna. Welcome to the conversation. I kind of like to be informed before I speak. I'm not fully informed, so I just spoke in general. Yesterday, I mean, the things that came out, and then you see that he's concerned, right? For me, as many people are saying, this is not, unfortunately, something new that transpires in the community. You understand? The fact that we have selective outrage as a people is troubling, because I don't like hypocrisy. But I guess we just have to wait and see as this comes out to see what happened. And then hopefully we can have the broader conversation. What's going on, Goldie? Hopefully we can have the broader conversation about how, what I can speak on is that what he chooses to highlight is his financial advancement, right? As his entrepreneurial success. And somehow in the community, I'm chopping. So if y'all hear, just bear with me, and I'm chopping carrots. Somehow in the community, and we see this all over, when the person is financially successful, especially if it's a melanated male, then that's supposed to give the past that people should overlook all the other things that they may have done. And what I could see from his Rolls Royce diaries and the thing he dropped yesterday is that it's following the same MO. Highlight the career, highlight all that they have to lose monetarily, and that somehow is supposed to overlook whatever transgression they committed. We saw that in the conversation that we had on this channel about grandma's secrets as to why some melanated women may have not spoken up when they could have back in the day, and it's the same thing. Thumbs up the video. It's the same thing. The person is providing some type of monetary value, and because they're providing this monetary value, that should mean that they should get a pass. So basically, our righteousness is for sale. Basically, righteousness is for sale. Justice is for sale. Wait, it's only for sale if the perpetrator is melanated. If the perpetrator is not melanated, then march in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And pump your fists. But if the perpetrator is melanated, then, and if they're making money, then we should give them the pass. But if they're not making money and they're broke, then you should throw the book at them. That's unrighteous. And that's part of the problem with any nation. If any nation, with anything that you're trying to build, if there's no justice, if there's not a way in which you can hold people accountable for the things that they do, right, to the highest bidder. Exactly. And then you are mad that, hey, they sold our ancestors, but look, you're selling, justice is for sale. Love you too, sis. Justice is for sale, right? I used to do this a lot. Show you guys while I'm actually working, but this is golden beets. So we're going to juice all of this. Because I'm on a juice cleanse, right? Justice is for sale. Righteousness is for sale. And it shouldn't be. That's where we pervert justice. When you read the Torah and you see people say, oh, Israel, it's not real. It's a fairy tale. If you read why the nation fell, even if you just read it for historical value, or you read it for cautionary tale, or you read it like you say you want to read Aesop's fable, the thing about the Bible, and I have to keep bringing it up, is that it doesn't try to highlight the people in a way to hide their indiscretions. What's going on, Nasha? It actually shows the indiscretions, and it shows how a people can rise and how a people can fall, right? It shows how a people, and because we are too busy arguing about the color of David's undergarments, right? We're not really getting the lessons from it. One of the lessons, as I took this U.S. history class this summer, and I'm looking at what caused World War I, what caused World War II. Yes, Queen T supporting the Yummy Cottage. Definitely support the Yummy Cottage for those who asked. Again, what else you can do? If you do go to the GoFundMe and you want to just, because right now we're trying to expand. We held on through that Corona, boy. We held on. It was many a night. I'm like, I don't know how I'm holding on, but we holding on and we still here. So support the team. You don't know we trying to not only just talk about it, but be about it. What was I saying? So as I was looking at what caused a lot of the wars, World War I, World War II, this, that, and that, there's a part when the children of Israel is going into the land, right? And it says you have an allotment of land. Now, when you have this allotment of land, do not transgress this border, because that is that person's, even if you don't like them, even if they're your enemy, even if it's Esau, even if it's Moab. When you go over there, don't transgress the border. When you look at the majority of what caused wars, is transgressing borders. It's going into other people's lands, going into Afghanistan, in America, going into the Indian lands. That's what causes fights. Transgressing other people's borders. In the actual Torah, it tells the children of Israel, don't do that. Respect someone else's land. Somebody might say, but there was somebody else there, and that's up for debate. You understand? But once they got there and once they settled, you see how much sense it makes when you realize that everybody got to live. And if you keep trying to expand your borders, if you keep trying to practice imperialism, if you're trying to be Rome and you're trying to be Greece and you're trying to be Egypt and you keep trying to sun everybody and go into their lands, it's going to cause a fight. And if you look at history and you look at wars, you will see that that's what causes a lot of fights. That and ego. I think I named it. I put in carrot, beet, ginger, and lime in this one. So I'm just cleaning up all of them right now. I think I named this. Tell me what my name it again. What me name this? I forgot. Hold on. I gotta check and see what I named it so I can go on topic now that I was all the way off topic. Hold on 1 second. So I woke up this morning to my son saying he was doing his homework on the computer, and he was like, "Mommy, somebody so he said, "Mommy, somebody responded to your video," right? So I was like, "Son, don't read the comments." They say you don't know what you're talking about, right? So he's all like, the first thing I opened my eyes, and he's over there hollering, "Somebody say you don't know what you're talking about." Shout out to John. So I'm like, "Yeah, son, don't read the comments. It's okay. It's all right." My goodness, what's the name of this video? Oh, normalized dysfunction. My goodness, jeez Louise. Anyway, we're back. Normalized dysfunction. Thank you, revolutionary. Normalized dysfunction. Now, in that comment, in the conversation, in our families, on YouTube, off YouTube, we see, no matter, specifically in the melanated community, but it happens in other places. We, the people, humanity, like to normalize dysfunction so that it doesn't make us feel like we're abnormal. This is what I'm saying. So the other day I saw a post, and it says, name something in the Caribbean community that's not talked about. The post got crazy. Child abuse, this, that, molestation, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is not something, as John was trying to have me understand, this is not just something that's indicative to the melanated community who ended up on mainland continent of America. That was a long description. No, this is something that happened throughout. Turmeric. So we're going to have turmeric, golden beets, carrot, and ginger. That's about to be litty, right? Yeah, we need to get a grip. Queen T, Wagwan. So this is something that has happened throughout. This is not just, so when John tried to convince me yesterday that Tariq Nasheed's behavior is normal and that I am only kicking back because I don't understand American culture, that's an attempt to normalize dysfunction, and so that we don't necessarily address it. Now let me say this. If it's normal for us to snap, crack your mama jokes, do all of these things to one another as we're coming up, what type of atmosphere are we creating? We are people, and our words have creative power. So if we're always, how many? I don't want to put too much turmeric. If we're always talking nasty to one another, if we cannot have respectful discourse, if every time we disagree, we have to go ham, tell me something. How are you going to work together? Especially when so-called black people are really big on respect. This, what you're talking about, is no different in the Caribbean. This whole snapping on you, it's no different. It's no different in Africa. If you look at some Nigerian or African, specifically Nigerian, if you look at some of the information or even the entertainment, I don't think, the way these people snap on one another, it's crazy. Like when they have traced you, is what they call it in the Caribbean. When they have thoroughly traced you, you have to wonder if you're still alive. So these are cultures. This is not indicative to America. This is a culture that uses their mouth to tear down their counterpart and say it's a sport. It's a part of who we are. This is what we do. But at the same time, we ask, well, why are we thus? Because our mouth has creative power. And so therefore, if we don't see value in our brother and sister, then we don't see value in ourselves. And then we wonder why all day long, one other cat fight. We wonder why all day long we're trying to get others to value us. There's a video I did, and I'm just going to keep bringing this up because a lot of this stuff I talked about before, and I'm, on to other things. You know what I mean? But there's a video I did about why we seek the approval of Europeans. I think I'm going to play that video. Yeah, this is going to rock with me today because I got a lot of cutting. Yeah, they said turmeric is an interesting thing. I would say the Indians been using it for a minute. Turmeric has its value. The way a lot of people are using it, it can become problematic to the liver. But I think turmeric has value. So definitely do the research on that. You don't want to OD like the way the people are doing. But turmeric does have value. I love curry, so I ain't even gonna beef on turmeric. I've been eating curry for a long time. Okay, so this is what we got right here. We're gonna be juicing all the good stuff. I think I'm just gonna chop it all up first and then juice it all together, right? So let me go wash off my board. Hold on. Sorry, peoples. I thought was good soul reporting stating not so much sure. Yeah, I watched the Indian man one time and he was like, anytime the West get a hold of something, they OD with it. They go beyond, they make it the miracle drug. And they don't put it in context, right? So oftentimes they pair curry with other things that helps it do what it needs to do. One of those things is coconut milk. So they pair it with milk, they pair it with whatever they need to in order for it to do what it needs to do without causing any damage, right? But sometimes we try to isolate the benefits of something and then it does more harm than good. All right, the next juice I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna do some celery. I'm gonna do some green juice, y'all. Y'all pray for me. I'm going on the juice cleanse. So what we're doing is right this time we're revamping the yummy. Watch how we're doing changes on the website. Definitely check it out if you want to be part of it. We've been here for about 3.5 years now. We've been holding on. You understand? We've been holding on. It's a testament to sometimes everybody can't see the value in what you're doing, but you have to believe in yourself and definitely have at least somebody behind you that sometimes if you forget why you started, they'll gently remind you. You know what I mean? So it's not all the time. Sometimes we stop doing because nobody's supporting. It's not that the thing that you're doing or what you have to bring to the community is not that it doesn't have value. It's that the people don't yet understand that it has value. So what happens is we go for what feels good. We go for the entertainment. We go for the pleasure. We go for wherever we are in our journey. You understand? And that's another thing I had to learn over the years is that wherever we are in our journey, everybody's not at the same place. Everybody's not at the same place. So you have to just keep pushing. Sometimes I'm like, man, son. But you just keep pushing. You just keep pushing. Take a break when you need to. This is all about real. After we go from the history, and I'm going to go to the dysfunction and normalizing it. Even with our health, we normalize the aches and pains. We normalize the gas. You run up in a store, you get the Tums, you normalize heartburn instead of realizing that your body is telling you whatever you just consumed, I can't really break it down the way I used to. Whatever you just ate, it doesn't rock with me well. And instead of saying, all right, body, I hear you, we normalize, oh no, all I have to do is, because I like the taste of whatever it is I'm eating so much, or I like that, whatever it is, that I'm going to keep doing it even through the discomfort. We normalize discomfort with our health, right? People normalize being constipated. Oh, they haven't gone for 2, 3, 4, 5 days. That's normal for me. That's not normal. That's abnormal, but you have just normalized it. Because why? You may have to change some things. You may have to admit some of the things that you're doing is off, and that you may have to change your eating habits, or change your lifestyle, or increase your intake, or maybe eat things you don't particularly like. What is dropping? Hold on, the cap them a drop. Hold on, hold on, hold on. There we go. Oh, don't drop. Yeah, so sometimes we get stuck because hey, yeah, share this on Facebook. Definitely share this on Facebook, share it on Twitter, all your Instagram. You know, little thing, little thing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So back to the normalizing dysfunction. It's not only just in emotional spaces. It's in all aspects of our lives, our spiritual spaces or religious spaces that people subscribe to. The pastor's a bit off. He's preaching about the kingdom. He don't look like he take care of himself. He look like he abusing the wife. But we normalize that because he's a man of God. He's a man of God. Right? So people get through, rest him at this point, but not TD Jakes. He ain't dead. What's the guy's name from uh Georgia? Uh Eddie Long. Eddie Long. So this thing that was going on with Eddie Long came out that he was whatever he was doing to the little boys, whatever the case may be, and there were still people who were willing to be in his church, who were willing to hear what was happening, and who were not willing to step Eddie Long, right? They were not willing to be honest about what they were experiencing and what they were seeing. It's not just happening in the subconscious community. It's not just happening in one space. This is a human behavior. So once we say, okay, it's not just a black thing or it's not just a white thing, it's a human thing, then we can step back from all of the spaces that we feel that we're better than other people on. And we can actually get to the crux of the issue. Make sure that I did skin this. We can actually get to the crux of the issue. So when I say get a grip, it's like be honest. When somebody says, man, get a grip, it's like be honest. Like I'm not even going to go back and forth with the comment because I already stated my point. No accountability, correct. So now we have to ask, why don't we like to hold others accountable? What is that? What is that? What is going on with us as a people where we don't like the other day, Cuomo in New York City? And why are they over here calling? That's not right. Why did somebody call polite Cuomo? I almost done. Yo, the people, the internet has no chill. Let me just say that. But Cuomo the other day, similar things come out that he's violating people, right? And he's still in his ego. He's not melanated. He's not in the subconscious community. That was the governor of New York, and he's still over there doing the same thing. You know, you can't cancel me. I'm still be here. People like yo Cuomo just bow out, and he kept going and going till he finally got the message that he gonna go ahead and sit himself down. But what about us? What about we the people? Whatever color or nationality you are, what about us doesn't like to be held accountable for the things that we do, but we want credit for the good things. So in this polite case, if you listen to him, he's highlighting all of the benefits, all of the good things that he's done, perceivably in his mind, whatever he rationalized to himself. So other people are saying, hey, brother, you have committed these things over the years. He's not mentioning those things because somewhere along the line, maybe he rationalized to himself that it wasn't fraud, that he wasn't scamming anybody, that he was actually helping people, that he's actually giving back. Understanding a bit of psychology would help us to navigate some of these waters. You know what I mean? Because the waters are definitely muddy, and it's not just on the internet. It's not just on the internet. I got one more to do. Let me know your thoughts. Anybody, feel free to share at this time. So we spend more time, to me, hold on, let me wash this off again. You're supposed to be, one second. We spend more time rationalizing than we do moving the information so we could get to the other side. And after a while, you know what I mean? It's a waste of time. The other day I was on a site or on a web page. We have one politician here, Yenny. Oh, I didn't even know about Yenny. What Yenny over there doing? Refused to step down. Like, I won't let go. You know what I mean? They don't want to let go of the power. They don't want to let go of the power. I was sometimes I go to other pages. Sometimes it gives me a headache. But I said, let me see what the people is talking about. And in some of these spaces, the people refuse to take accountability. So, for instance, if somebody is wrong, dead wrong, then we will use that opportunity to put all of the blame in their portion, so as not to take responsibility of some of the blame that will lie on us. If you watch court shows, or if you're in court system, or if you understand that just because somebody's wrong about one thing doesn't mean they're wrong about everything. But somehow, some way, we the people think that because somebody's wrong about one thing, they're wrong about everything. And we know we've heard a broke clock is right twice a day, right? So just because the person is wrong or has been wrong, or they were right and then they went wrong, if a man leaves from his wickedness and does that which is right, that means you have the capability as human beings to once be wicked and turn from it. Then it should be counted to him as righteous. But if he turns from his righteousness and does wickedness, then he'll be counted into him for wickedness. So people do have the capacity to be right on one hand and wrong on the other. It's weird. It's weird like that. You know what I mean? It's weird like that. But for some reason, it makes the observer feel like, nah, I just got to paint this person all wrong because I don't know what to do with that. That's too much adjustments, and I don't really have the space for all. I don't have the bandwidth to sort through the wrong and right places that this person may find himself. I'm gonna put y'all onto some juice. This fennel apple ginger right here, I made it many years ago. My children still be like, fennel apple ginger. The fennel, if you have a place that sells fennel, and then apple and ginger, that joint is litty. Litty. He mailed underwear to a young boy, then asked him to see. What, this Yenny person? Okay, let's talk about the perverseness. There was a broadcast, and I can't find the broadcast. There was a broadcaster in the 1960s who spoke about the decline of society, right? Yeah, that fennel apple ginger is bossy. He spoke about the decline of society because at that time, Playboy had came on the scene. They were selling pornographic stuff through the mail. And this newscaster in the 1960s, he was paranoid. He was like, yo, if this continues, the society is going to devolve. He was right. He was right. He was right. Right? So on one hand, you see that these people, we're hearing about some depraved acts, but some people say, I don't care what you do in your bedroom. That's off. There's a lot of people right now on the internet and in real life that's afraid to be, quote unquote, people to push back on their thoughts. And so they say, I don't care what you do. But if we understand universal laws and principles, we understand that what you do in the dark does come to light. What you do in certain places, certain depraved activities that you engage in, it will have some energy, whatever their type they are. I need love. Whatever they are drudging up. Sorry. Whatever they are doing, it brings it into the real world. Let's get, for example, somebody's a bit depraved in their personal space. Okay, say they're over there, because you do know that people manifest. This is how we manifest things into the physical world. One of the ways is sexually, right? So say the person is sexually depraved, and the person is opening up certain portals because they're engaging in certain illicit activities. I'm an adult artist and I have no dog in the fight, but I can say I attached it through my focus and judgment. Feel free to share a little bit more on that. I don't want to misread. So thank you for sharing. Feel free to share a little bit more on your point on that, revolutionary. So say the person is a bit off in certain spaces and they're opening portals, right? They're opening doors. That's what portal is, right? And they're allowing and they're engaging and they're entertaining off spirits. Hold on, I'm cutting these apples. Now you go into business with them, or you go shaking their hands. I wasn't too mad during the corona when you ain't have to shake nobody's hand. You go shaking their hands. You go exchanging energies with them. You go touching and agreeing. Spirits can transmit through touch. I say spirits can transmit through touch. That's why some of the Orientals be like, bang, bang, right? Because spirits can transmit through touch. So you said you didn't care what they were doing over there, but now they come into other spaces and now they're transmitting certain spirits to you or certain energies to you or to your children through touch. Not just through words or images, but through touch. So it does. This is why when you read certain passages, the question is, well, somebody in the camp is off. You need to go find out who in the camp is off. Why? Because it affects the whole. That's the next lie that people have told us, that, oh, it doesn't matter. It does matter. It does matter. It absolutely does matter. So they're lying to us, man. All right, everything is cut up. Everything is cut up. But sometimes people be like, why does stuff cost so much? There's prep, there's cleaning, there are bottles, there are labels. Sometimes we the people in some of our expectations, it's not realistic. I know I'm jumping, but I'm going in and out. I'm going in and out. All right. Never leave knives in sinks of water. Welcome to those who just joined us. But as a practicing Israelite, I remember judging the men my twin sister was, saying they were mostly with her because she was giving them money. Oh, okay. I see. I mean, there's a lot to talk about there. There's a lot to talk about. Let's see, which one should I do first, peoples? Should I do apple, fennel, ginger, cucumber, and the green vibration, or I'm gonna do the green vibration first? Because then I'm gonna have to wash. Yeah. So, Revolutionary, you could come up and share your thoughts. Hold on, let me do something real quick. Because I'm like used to me doing more than one thing, so I don't want to misspeak on what I'm reading. I'm gonna put the link in the box. I'll put the link in the box if you want to come up and kind of expound a little bit, so I don't want to misspeak on that. And then I'm gonna share some of my this is for people who would like to come up. Let me pull up something really quickly. What type of dysfunction in our lives have we normalized? Right? What type of dysfunction has been normalized? If you ask people, oh, do you remember when you was a kid, when you used to hold up the rabbit ears or the antenna, and everybody be like, yeah, I remember that. Okay, your TV wasn't working properly. But we can all connect on the fact that we had to hold the rabbit ears up on the TV to try to put the aluminum foil. It wasn't made to put aluminum foil to turn it every which way till you got a signal. Something wasn't working correctly. with the television. But we all, many of us who remember that, will connect over that, even though it wasn't working in proper order. So there are many things in our lives growing up that our parents, our family, our culture had to make do with. That doesn't mean it was premium. That doesn't mean it was functional. It was just what they needed to make do. And because we are familiar with it and it was normal, we kind of protect it. It becomes like this protected space, kind of like, and I'm going to say it, soul food wherever you are. So there's, wherever you may be, there is a food that becomes cultural. But at some point, especially if you're coming out of oppression, that cultural food was actually leftovers. That cultural food was actually the foot of the pig, or the tail of the cow, or the tongue of the cow, or the gonads of the goat. And because this all you had, this because it's all we had to put some sauce on it. We had to make it okay to consume it. And so now people will go to bat, or chicken foot, or whatever. People will go to bat for what culturally was dysfunctional for the people who were giving it to you, because they didn't consume it. And now we have to say that this is who we are. It's not necessarily who you are, it's what you had to do to survive. There was an episode in The Family of Chantel. This is going back to my TLC references, right? Hold on. I'm trying to find a video. In the family of Chantel, in the family of Chantel, they went to the Dominican Republic, right? They went to the Dominican Republic. I found it. And when they went to the Dominican Republic, when they went to the Dominican Republic, the mother was like, "Oh, welcome for everybody who's have joined us. We're going to she's cooking the chicken foot, because it was cultural for them to have chicken foot." So now the family of Chantel, who's coming from America, they're like, "She fed us chicken foot? Like, is she insulting us?" Right? And they're like, "I'm not eating that." And Pedro's over there tearing the thing up. And because culturally, for one person, it would be like feeding the person pig feet. And for you, it may be culturally okay to feed them pig feet. And for the other person, they may be offended. This is something that was dysfunctional that we tried to make functional because it's all we had. Right? Sleeping 3 people to a bed, or 4 people to a bed. It's not the way it's supposed to be, but because it's all that you can have, then we make it okay. So if we go through our lives, and we look at some of the things that we made okay, like the molestation. Oh, it's okay because it happened to me too. Or the abuse, or the exploitation, or whatever it is, fill in the blank. And the line is, it's okay because that also happened to me. Or that happened to my mother, or that happened to my cousin, or that happened to my father. Like, the rite of passage for many melanated men to go to jail. It's okay because X, Y, and Z. It's not okay. It's dysfunctional. And once we realize, okay, this is dysfunctional, this is maladaptive, how do we make our way through for it? Revolutionary, again, if you want to share your thoughts, feel free to do so. Like I said, I'm a little in and out, so I'm trying not to mishandle what you shared here. But that, definitely appreciate you sharing. Queen Say says she been stopped touching hands before COVID. Yeah, I'd be like, I told you, I don't know if I told you guys, one time I touched a lady's hand. I promise you, I felt just like, I was like, whoa, what, what is this woman into? I could feel the vibration through her hands. We're doing the cucumbers now. So in the meantime, I'm gonna play this video. Hold on one second. I'm gonna play this video that talks about, in my thought process at that time, and I haven't seen it in many years, and I'm gonna see why, or if, hold on, why or if I still agree, or if there are any points that I want to disagree in. Like I said, at this time, the link is in the box. Thank you for rocking with me. Let me share my screen. This video was called Hidden Reasons Why Black People Seek uh, Look at the younger Amuna. Look at my, see, that's why I need to do a juice cleanse right on time. Younger Amuna looking all young. Let me find out. Hold on one second. Share screen. This is short, and then we're gonna, because it's in the course and the line of our study, and I saw she was pleading for understanding, not to say that I have the fullness of understanding, but I will definitely share what it is that I've learned. The thing about understanding what we want to know is that we have to be willing to open up our mind that truth may not come as we want it. And I'm not just speaking directly, now I'm speaking in general, so nobody feel no way. But basically, the truth is the truth. And our emotions sometimes block us from seeing the truth. And I notice oftentimes our community, because of the emotional trauma that has been done, and that's what I want to talk about today. But before I get there, because of the emotional trauma and the injury that has been done, we tend to sometimes not look at the entire picture. So with understanding, if we really want to know the truth, then we have to be willing to stomach the entire truth. Recently, I've been reading a lot of slave narratives, because I've noticed that when we say the word slavery or oppression and racism, it's kind of ambiguous, not only for Europeans, but as well as quote-unquote black people. We have the key little ones that they taught you on February, you understand? And the whole richness of the history is lost in for lack of a better word, right, whitewashing it, and we ourselves don't know our own history. That is a damaging part of our healing process. And why I say healing process is because if we don't understand the nature of the injury, we don't know how to heal it. If you go to the doctor, the first thing they're going to do is diagnose you or begin to ask you a line of questioning so that they can understand the nature of the injury. So when we are seeing people, and I see some comments that say, okay, we know the issue, but we don't know the degree of the issue. We do know that there's something wrong. We do know that there were injury on many levels, mental, physical, and spiritual. You understand? And what we're looking at is the effects of those injuries. But it's like we keep getting upset at the effects of the injury, but usually when you're sick, you want to get healing. If you've been injured, you want to heal. So continuing to just rehash what's the problem is like saying to the person who was hit by a car, why you limping? Why you keep limping? Every time I see you, you limping. You better stop limping. Okay, he needs to go to rehab so that he can go to learn how to walk again and improve his gait, point blank. So for us, we don't have to, but it will benefit us if we want understanding to, yes, acknowledge that these are the symptoms of a deeper problem. And the problem is that we have been injured, like a bird with a broken wing. You can pump him up all day. You're going to fly, little birdie. That doesn't mean he's going to fly. We have to know a little something about it. So what do I say? Some great books to begin to read if you want to. What I notice is, because I started this on the 1st of January, is a reading project. It's called Lift Every Voice, right? I say that to say, at first everybody's like, yeah, we're going to read. And then as we start reading, we're not ready. I can't stomach it. I can't hear it. That means we're not ready to address the injury. If you're not ready to, if you're hurt, you remember when you fell down when you was young and your mother looking at you like, no, don't touch it, don't touch it. She started yelling and screaming at you because if I don't put peroxide on it or if I don't cleanse out the cut, it can't get better. So right about now, even though it's been hundreds of years, we're still like, oh, I can't look, I don't want to see it, it hurts too much. This is where we should start. Looking at the symptoms, that's cool, but start in what was the injury. Reason being, when you find out the injury, then you will begin to understand the psychology behind the injury. Now let's get on to, because I could go long on this, because like I said, this thing is getting juicy. So right about now we're reading 50 Years in Change, a slave narrative by Charles Ball. But here's the thing. The thing is, at the time our foreparents were writing this, it was a revolutionary act. Reason being, it was illegal for you to read. That's another video as to why a lot of times black people don't want to go into books. maybe because you was under threat of punishment severely if you did. So psychologically, that has been passed down throughout the generations. They have a new study it's like I knew the words, but I couldn't give their new term. So the new term is epigenetics, where it is that the experiences of your foreparents, they're not necessarily hardwired like the color of your eyes or the length or height that you're going to be, but their experiences have been passed down. I got a book. If you want to understand, you have to be ready to search for the answers. This is a very interesting book. It's called The Betrayal Bond, right? It's talk about trauma bonding. We have to be willing to admit, even though it was under duress, even though that you were forced into this relationship, Europeans and black people were in a relationship. I know you might be mad right now, like, what? Sis is bugging out. You have to be at least willing to come to that term, that it was dysfunctional, but nonetheless, it was a relationship. The relationship needs to be looked at for what it was, and here's why. When you look at it for what it was and what it continues to be, it's like why you don't understand why a battered wife doesn't leave the husband, or why the abused child has still loyalty towards the parent. It's called trauma bonding. Research that term, look it up, and begin to understand that this dysfunctional relationship, and in my mind, I'm kind of going back because I'm sourcing through the information as well as, what kind of relationship. And I'm saying it wasn't more of a husband to a wife or a man to a woman. It was more of the system of racism and white supremacy was the parent to the indentured or enslaved people that they obstructed or traumatically removed from their environment in Africa. Some did not originate in Africa, but that's another story. Let's stay on this topic. First, we have to admit that black people and white people are in a dysfunctional relationship, one of which I would like to classify as parent to a child. Not to say that they're superior, but this is the position realistically, aside from the emotion, that once you were captured as a people, you were placed in, subjugated to the whims, thoughts, and desires of a parental figure. Meaning, as I'm reading these slave narratives, a good one to get is Weevils in the Wheat, which is over 300 narratives of ex-Virginia slave ex-slaves right before the Civil War. So they were younger when the Civil War came in, and so they're recounting their recollection of slavery. Also, the Library of Congress, it was a huge project, so it's over thousands of voices and narratives that they got. Why this is important to read is because not what you think today, but what your foreparents processed in their mind, their relationship to the slave master.
That's a little bit. We did a little bit. Let me release the screen. Wow, that was a younger Moona boy. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I think that was like 2016, some 6 years ago. We still here. We're still pushing. Thank you for those who just joined us. I see we have Revolutionary in the spot. That's why I put that on pause. So far, I agree with what I was saying. I wouldn't change much 6 years later. A lot of it really applies, still applies. So my assertion there and my assertion today is that was and is a relationship, and we have a relationship to everything. If we're in this physical existence, then we have a relationship. You have a relationship to food. You have a relationship to music. You got a relationship to your hometown, to your parents. What the state of that relationship is determined, and welcome to the conversation, by how in which we interface. But we have relationships, point blank. And so some of the times, because it's unclear how we relate to what our environment, our reality, we can't see through all of the mess, right? So these conversations that we have here is not just what's going on with Brother Polite or what's going on here and what's going on there. It's really eventually being able to see ourselves and how we relate to our environment around us. But welcome, Revolutionary, to the channel. Thank you for joining us. I'll be pouring my juice while you're talking. I just want to show y'all, look, my relationship to all this juice I just got. But go ahead.
I'm a little nervous, and also under the